Who's gonna pay for that?
Well, I think that's then where you get Rod Rickenberger to bring his resources to bear to try to find some funding to do that. Town of Monroe can't do that on their own. And we can't do it with them. We've got to have outside help to.
And I agree with that, because it's not fair to throw all that burden onto the farmers that drain into this.
No.
It's gonna be a benefit to the town of Monroe, which they need the benefit, and I understand that. And we need to find out if we can get some federal grants or some matching funds from outside for this type of project.
Yeah. And I think this is just the first step in finding a way to fund an improvement of that situation there.
So, if we go ahead with the Christopher Burke doing their study and recommendation, what kind of a time frame do we have on that?
I don't know that.
I don't know that we've sat down on that yet,
Okay.
because this has all been hypothetical so far.
The interesting thing is though, that I think a lot of their, the information they're gonna need, Mike has already begun to develop.
Yeah.
Just as a part of his
A start of it.
studying of the system and what's going on there. We've already identified where a lot of the, manholes are and what the levels are, what their heights are, where that drain goes, where the.
Yeah, and the initial study here, what this would pay for is gonna make recommendations on the pond, on the outlet especially, how it flows through there. So if we can help improve that outlet,
So,
you know,
so
to
wait,
the town.
before we take any action on this, do we need to wait to make sure the Maumie's gonna come through with their stuff, Steve?
I would say, we could take the action pending Maumee River Basin Commission approving payment of the other 75% and of the town of Monroe splitting the 25% match with us. I think we could do that with all that soon, pending all of that happening. Otherwise, I don't know whether the cart comes before the horse. Somebody's got to move.
Yep, somebody's got to be.
Yeah, somebody's got to go first.
Yeah, somebody's got to go first. So we're looking at perhaps a motion to do our part so that Maumee would have a foundation to do their part. Is that correct?
And the town of Monroe has a meeting next this coming Thursday night. And I plan to be at that
So
meeting.
if you could pass what we've
And
done.
I can. At that point, if we have already had an action to fund 50% of that, then the town of Monroe could rely on that. Again, all predicated on the fact that MRBC agrees to fund 75% of that
So
study.
go ahead, Bill.
So I don't have a problem in making a motion, but let's put a cap on it. Let's say we'll go up to $10,000 right now. That covered more than our 50%, which is
Right.
7,000. And it also leaves enough money in the system until we find out how much are we spending on that system. And if we're talking to clean a ditch out later on for maintenance clean out,
Sure.
we'll have money there to work with. I just don't wanna see everything go down to where all of a sudden we can't do anything and the town of Monroe expects us to do something
Right.
and it's not there.
Well, you can make a motion, Bill, and we'll see if it passes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and pay our 50% up to a maximum of $10,000 out of the drainage system.
Second.
Okay, been a motion and second to move forward with a $10,000 cap. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
There have
Steve, you're
not,
gonna share that.
I'll take that to the
information?
town of Monroe Thursday night.
And then, who's gonna follow, you're gonna discuss this at your next Maumee meeting? or what?
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
discuss this.
yeah, the Maumee River Basin Commission meeting, yeah, we're
And
gonna
I'm
go
not
there.
sure when that is, but
Yeah,
I'll
it's,
tell you there in a minute.
yeah.
Okay, so now we're
It's coming.
ready to,
So,
discuss the Drake watershed,
Okay.
Mike.
my computer has been locked out, so I've been, I was on there and then it locked me out. Drake watershed, so this is the Everett legal tile repair, the one on Highway 101, north of Pleasant Mills. I've met Highway Department there, and we had another meeting now, last Thursday with Highway Department and the higher up in Brooks on both of them. They're still looking at it, how they're debating on how they can get the funding to repair that. Because their project is closed out, so, we just keep moving on. That's the best I can say here. They understand there's a problem, then they have to fix it, and so we're working with them.
Okay, who's they again? Who's they?
That was the state highway department.
Okay, they're the
Dustin,
one.
Dustin,
They messed it up.
Yeah, and not messed it up.
yeah, and Brooks Construction did that work. It's past their closeout year. They have 1 year for a project. It's beyond that. So higher ups in Brooks come here now. We're going up to the top of Brooks is what happened,
Okay,
and explained it to him. No other report, just that we're working on that one. I told them we have to get that done before, winter, and, so that's about the best I can say.
okay, any questions to Mike on the drain? None? Okay, thanks, Mike. If there's an update on that, you can let us know.
Yep.
March,
So the March, we talked about this one, and that's why Dr. Judge is here, I believe. We talked about, we would like to change specifications for the bidding of this project. We were questioning adding a mandated continuous maintenance for the projects, and this could include up to 3 years of both mowings and spraying and to maintain the ditch. I do not, I have driven that system a couple times now, looked at, how much brush we got on it. I don't have specifications wrote up yet. So I think that's where we're at for a project. I just want to do this for your information. Any questions on that? You got anything you want to tell me?
Judge, any comments?
How soon is that gonna move forward? I mean, I guess you guys have been a couple of years almost since you guys surveyed it. And
Oh, that was, no, that was 2017 or something when that was surveyed.
Yeah.
So we have the plans upstairs. They've been revised. I question the usefulness of that plans because it was for a reconstruction. And they tended to take existing structures, culvert pipes, and draw a straight line to the next one. There's times they weren't dipping anything out, and there's times that they were dipping a little more. I believe we should get rid of that straight line effect and get the drain cleaned out again, number one. Nate Rumschlag is looking at that for the future bridges and culverts, how he can lower them in the future to get better depth. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, typical surveying and engineering practice, you had to run the straight lines, because that's what you had to work with, because of the existing structures. But if they're going, which I believe that the highway structures will be no problem, but they do need to be lowered. And that way, if they get like a minimum of 1 foot sump on it, you got room for maintenance clean out on them. The problem is with private structures,
Yeah.
if they're put in by the private individual, the odds of them, unless there's a backhoe back out there, of them cleaning out the bottom before they roll their pipes in is slim to none.
Yeah.
They just roll them in and they put the crossing over the top. Now, they're not supposed to do that, and I understand that, but it still happens.
So that's gonna take some work on our part, drainage board and surveyor, to get them lowered,
Right.
or removed. There's a couple places that they are needed to get into the fields. A couple places seem to be old driveways that they used. So I have a feeling we have to put our foot down on them private culverts and get them lowered. So.
Well, no argument here. I understand.
So that's where we're at. As far as the specifications, we have to work and build them for a maintenance project, for a maintenance for 5 years or whatever. I haven't got that far yet.
Will that, when we build those specifications to require maintenance, will that then change the individuals who have typically bid on our
I don't know yet.
projects?
We have a number of them that can brush and maintain it. I can think of 3 of them here. You met Brent Huffman last
Yeah.
meeting, and his system, he's quite a bit higher, and he did that on,
Yeah.
with the way he would like to see it done.
Yeah, I just don't want to write the specs such that we only have one bidder that's willing to bid.
I agree.
I would-
Competition is good.
Yeah.
No, I agree too, yeah. We have there's more capability of brushing it, you know,
Okay.
and maintaining it.
Okay.
Here, I really think we'll get to at least 3, and possibly more. Mr. Judge, do you understand what we were saying there?
Yeah.
We would like to make a maintenance project for after the dipping and leveling is done. A maintenance, yearly maintenance on it.
So you'll write those specs and then they'll go out for bid?
That's what, well, I'm gonna come bring it through you guys.
Okay.
I'll write them and bring them to you.
So the cost, the 350 to 400,000 in 2018. Is this what we're talking about
That
now?
was the cost for reconstruction in 17-18.
So you're gonna do
when
this,
He did that.
you're gonna do the reconstruction at today's cost, is what you're
Yeah,
gonna.
it would have to be
try
the days, yep.
And so,
But
do we? So there is a hearing being prepared for this system, is that correct?
so for a reconstruction, we had to have plans and you have to have a hearing on it. I would suggest a hearing to raise the maintenance fee, number one. Because it's at 91 cents an acre now,
94, I thought.
94. I would suggest that we do that first to make it somewhere logical.
So what's gonna be the request? Are you gonna go up to 25?
Well, I don't know, 25 is what them guys are telling me, that's where that $25 I said was the group of landowners that was in my office. They said, why don't we raise that to 25 and then lower it after we get it paid for?
I guess I want to see the numbers. Tell me
Yeah.
tell me what 25 raises, tell me what 10 raises. What would happen if we raised it to 10 and then, and instead of trying to pay for it all in 3 years, we borrowed from the general drain improvement fund and paid that back over a longer period of time, maybe what we could do, 8 years there, what? would we do?
The state board of accounts says 5 years, but they allow 7 years
Okay.
in Wells County.
Okay.
They allow with progress, you know.
So
that
what
it's all
would it
set
take
up.
to pay that off after 5 years, I guess, would be my,
Yeah.
some of the questions I would want to know. I'm not in favor of raising a rate with the expectation we're gonna lower it back down again. That just doesn't happen.
Well,
So,
Really?
okay, when you're preparing the hearing and the amount that you're asking, is it the drainage board that specifies the amount that you're going to discuss in the hearing?
I would hope so, yes.
When you send out a hearing notice that you're gonna raise the maintenance, you can send out the hearing notice with the maximum that you are going to go up. At the time of the hearing, if you wanna go lower than the maximum you send out, there's not a problem. You go higher, you have to send out a new notice,
Restart the
to
cycle.
restart the whole thing. So you wanna make sure whatever you send out, that you don't plan on going higher. Because people that don't show up at the public hearing still have a right to write something in if we're going to ask for more than what we initially sent out for.
But during the hearing, the drainage board decides what the figure is going to be, is that correct?
Correct.
As long as it doesn't
As
exceed.
long as it doesn't exceed what
exceed
we
the amount.
sent out
When we advertise.
and
Well,
what we
for the-
advertised.
And I agree with Steve, you'd like to know a little bit what we're discussing here in money
Yeah.
terms. But on the other hand, I would like to see this move forward. You know, we've been marking time here for a long time,
Well, since
so,
Paul started it in 14 or whatever.
Yeah.
On that.
you know, and here again, you know, if we don't decide on something, we're gonna be kicking the can down the road some more.
And the thing is, this is a fine line. If you're gonna start lowering the ditch elevation and getting into what they call hard pan and pulling slopes back, that's reconstruction. That's
Yeah,
not a
no.
maintenance clean out.
No, I would suggest we just go to the hard bottom
Okay,
and to clean that out. Even if it will leave a couple structures higher, it will still help the flow through there. Am I right on that?
oh, yeah, it still will help the flow.
Help flow. And then work towards the structures that are higher elevation that we could lower.
Well, Bill, what you just said, could we go ahead for the sake of moving this forward and have a hearing
Oh, I think you need a maintenance hearing. I think the system's too low.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't argue that.
But the question is, what figure, so Mike can get the hearing
Let's-
scheduled and moving. What kind of a figure you wanna put on the high end, and then we can always, when you get the money figures, Steve, that you're asking for,
Then we
we'll use 25, for example.
Yeah.
If we prepare it for 25 and the drainage board ends up saying, hey, 15, at least we're moving forward.
And one thing you can do, and of course, and I did this one time when I was county surveyor. I had a reconstruction, okay? But there wasn't enough, the people didn't have enough money in there to pay for anything, but we had enough money in the maintenance. So the maintenance from the drainage board offset some of that cost on the reconstruction to lower the cost down what the landowners had to pay. Cause they were still paying it, but we took part of the maintenance money to help offset that cost. And that way we didn't have to borrow everything from the GDI, General Drain Improvement Fund, to fund the system, fund the project.
Well, what I'm getting at is, can we come up with a figure so Mike can prepare for the hearing? And then we can decide after we got more information on costs, et cetera, et cetera.
Do we know how many acres would be?
Yeah, I have the acres. So what I intend is to do a maintenance report on this, a thorough maintenance report on how much you got the land and all that. The March right now is, what you just asked is 5,151 acres. So, and I'd like to get an estimate on maintaining that too for 5 years, or what we want to do. If we want to write that way, I'll get an estimate on that also, put that in the maintenance report.
What's that come to?
$125,000 a year.
That's what it gets now?
That would be, if you raise it to $25, I'm sorry. That'd be
I don't
$125,000 a year.
Now we're getting
I don't know if you can get that done.
right now we're getting $8,236 a year.
If you went to
Obviously, that-
$10 an acre, you're collecting over 100.
That's,
No.
that's 50,000.
50,000, yeah,
And that's pretty good for maintenance.
that is. And so will that 50,000 allow you to start,
And you,
and by the way, you're gonna go to $100 on the property. too.
yeah, you gotta go to a minimum. I think the minimum is what, $25, $50 on that
We're in
one?
25 minutes.
Yeah, and,
Yep.
you know,
At least
$100 minimum for drainage is not out of line, believe me.
So if you guys are in agreement with all this, what we've said, I'll start a maintenance report. I'll start getting some estimates on what it's gonna cost to do that. And then also estimates what it would cost to do a change and a maintenance for 5 years or whatever afterwards. And that was my intention.
Yeah, and I agree with Steve and Doug here. It said, you're not gonna lower it back down. I mean, once you said it, that's where it's gonna have to
Yeah,
stay.
I don't
You
know.
just,
As again, that's what the
We can
guys,
say it with good intentions
yeah,
and
yeah, I know.
But the question is, for today's purpose, do we need to set that figure so that we can prepare for the hearing?
I think we need Mike to do more.
Yeah.
let's do the maintenance report.
Let Mike
first.
do more.
Okay,
work.
Yeah, I think we need the maintenance report for us to make a good decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, by next meeting, keep this off the agenda. By next meeting, maybe we can have enough information, we can get it moving on the hearing.
I would hope we can get a proposed maintenance report or, an estimated
When's
maintenance.
the
report
next
at
scheduled
beginning.
meeting? Couple weeks or?
Yeah, it'd be 2
2 weeks,
weeks.
2 weeks.
So if I can get a start on a maintenance report,
Okay.
that's where we have to start,
Okay.
that I see.
Yep.
Let's do
Okay.
that.
And I
Just a
agree.
reminder, we can't do the hearing until the first of the year
Yeah,
because of
right.
collections and everything.
Oh,
We're just kind of trying to get the
Okay.
ducks in a row
We got some
for
time.
when we get
Yeah,
there.
we got time.
Yep. The guys I had in the office there, well, there's too many for the office, we sat in the break room. And there was probably 2,000-3,000 acres sitting there of the larger farmers, So I thought,
5,000 acres.
yeah, I bet there was well over 2,000 sitting in there, cause it was, I didn't add them up, but there was a large amount of the acreage.
Dr. Judge, any more comments from your chair?
Well, I guess my only question, I'm not so deeply into this, but what's the difference between reconstruction and
Maintenance.
So,
for that ditch? Because part that I'm concerned about is totally overgrown with brush. trees falling across it, it's, you know, it's just a mess, where my outlet goes in from there forward.
Yeah.
It's just a mess, I mean, it's gonna have to be brushed, it's gonna have to be dipped, I don't know what you do up the stumps.
So,
Stuff they're left behind, so I don't know what the difference is between these two terms.
so reconstruction is changing the depth of the ditch or the location of it, meaning the sides and straightening and all that. Maintenance is getting rid of the brush and dipping out the sediment that's in there. That's basically, do you agree with how I'm saying that? Yeah, so we're just getting the sediment out that's there. When we talk about a hard bottom, I can go in, that's what I do on these ditches. I go down in them and probe them and you can feel where the bottom was. It's not sediment. And that's what we know. And I know there's a lot in here. So I would propose not to do a reconstruction, but to do a maintenance project. To lower it back to the original hard bottom.
Beneficial without doubt. Yeah.
would you debrush just one side or both sides?
I would look forward to debrush both, especially if we want to do a maintenance, a 5-year maintenance or whatever. I think we do both sides. And it's gonna add to the cost, but we're getting it done in one shot. That's up to, your opinions on that is what I look for.
That answer your question, though?
Yes. Thank you.
So what do you think about one side versus both sides? One side is all we need to actually work on the ditch. But
Well, as overgrown as that section of ditches that I'm particularly worried about, I think both sides ought to be done. But
Yeah.
I don't care which side you work on, but both sides are a mess.
Do it right.
I know we've hashed this out once before, a couple times, but this is the direction then we'll go in.
But just one more question. What is the length of this project?
Yes, I know that. I don't have it in front of my phone here. So I found 2 other projects in here. I think one was a reconstruction that Paul had proposed September 4th, 2018, and previously was just a dip and level. And I don't know that I have everything in my head that I should tell you.
There's only I have
Look at the
122
length of it.
systems.
Length,
Understandable. Mike, it's not in your head.
yeah, right, yeah, there's about 15 other things rattling around right now. I don't think I have the length with me. I don't think I can tell you.
Well, are we gonna try to maybe put this back on the agenda in a couple weeks then? Is that enough time, or do you wanna wait a month, or what do you want? How much time you need, Mike?
Well, I'll start, I have the maintenance report started. I have it
Okay,
typed out and I don't have that along with me.
if nothing else, an update next drainage meeting maybe on March.
Good.
Yeah, the reason we had put this in here really is because when we did the last meeting, when we were talking about, was it John Thomas, I believe? It was brought up about adding a possible maintenance plan, and that's why Mike was questioning, should we add these in before he starts the figuring? That's why we were wanting to know about it, because the question was raised, should we have it?
Yeah, so we'll figure both sides, we'll figure brushing and a maintenance schedule and we'll move forward that way.
Okay.
I think this is what I was looking forward
Okay, good.
to move on.
If you lay out that kind of contract, with whoever you get to brush it and dip it, we'll be the ones doing the maintenance then over the next 5 years.
That's what we're proposing.
Part of all the bid, one bid, and it covers all that,
Yeah, I don't know if that'll be 1 or if that'll be 2.
but probably the same contractor though that would do that then, or not, or.
I would hope, I don't know, but again,
Okay.
there are people that are beginning to specialize in doing maintenance like that. And
Okay.
it's a pretty small field right now.
Okay,
So I don't know whether the contractor that dip and levels it has to be the maintenance guy.
okay.
I think we picked the most.
We're just
the
looking
most-
at our first foray into that
Yeah.
maintenance contract along with
Okay.
a dip and level. So the first time we've done it.
And I think I'd like the most qualified for maintenance. So I don't know yet. This is a new field for us.
Okay.
Okay, any questions on March before we move on to the Wagner Farlow? Is that the next one? Yep, Wagley Farlow's next.
This is just more of information. Greg might have a little experience on this Wagley Farlow, because that's part of his, area. I give a pond permit, well, me and the building department, we give a regular pond permit for what you're looking at on your sheet there, where the pond is now, they divided that one. The next pond is to the east of it, and he's putting a pad in behind the barns there to put I think it's a calf barn up. And so he's using that soil. As they dug the pond, they hit a 10-inch, I think is what we said that one was, tile, and the existing location for what we show there, the red line, is not correct. It's up, crosses the road in our picture. And we took the assumption that one that was hit was the legal tile. So it had a hole on it in the field. Kevin was out there last week repairing tile. Kevin does not think that one we hit is the legal tile. He thinks that's a branch, a private branch.
10-inch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm puzzled.
Kevin,
Very many private 10 inches.
I know of an 18, so
but
don't,
Kevin is really good at
Right.
these tile.
does the owner who dug the pond, is he responsible to fix that 10-inch also?
If it was a legal tile, yes, that's what we said. And so we didn't have to run
He
around.
can just cut it and willy-nilly?
Well, see, I told him the other day that he should have stopped digging the minute they hit that tile.
Exactly.
They finished the pond before we knew about it.
Nearly finished the pond.
They're pretty much finished.
Dug there for a while after we left.
Yeah, they dug, yeah, but I mean, they were just down to cleaning up basically. So I said, I told him the other day that if that's a legal tile, we're gonna have to move your pond.
Huh.
And
Didn't like that.
then he started talking to me.
Got his attention.
Yeah, then we were talking about the tile and what it is.
Well, okay.
What I'd like to do, and I thought I was just gonna do a report of how we hit that, and we're gonna run a tile around it. Kevin thinks that is not the legal tile that he hit, that's just a private
You
tile.
can't just go in and cut a guy's tile.
Well,
Well, you
So-
can do anything to your property as long as what you do doesn't incur any more damage that has been
That's
previously
exactly right.
enjoyed by that property. So can you cut a legal tile or can you cut a tile? Yes. But if you're gonna cause more flooding than what was enjoyed by him before, then you gotta replace that tile. You gotta reroute that tile.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know, that's state statute.
That's down
So-
close to your place, isn't it, Greg?
That's up to me.
we had this on the agenda because I was gonna tell you we hit a tile that we have to reroute. Kevin doesn't think so, so we have to go out there and investigate this farther. I'd love to take Greg along and go out there and see if we can,
Yeah.
number one, we have to locate the tile properly.
Right.
You know when this was built? I looked it up in our books. 1897, is that what I told you? Something like
Legal tile was constructed.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that doesn't surprise me.
1897. So that's what we're working with. And the locations were wrong on our locations on GIS. And actually, so we know this GIS map was drawn, or it was developed in 2003 by Ball State Kids for a summer project. That's when they started our GIS system. They took the maps upstairs that are drawn in mostly by pencil and put the legal tiles on here. This section where our tile is off is not clear on that pencil drawing. It's kind of in there and it's shaded out, it's faded and it doesn't fit. So they did the best they could. And we hit that all the time, so nothing different.
Greg, is that 10-inch that we're talking about, does that drain some of your property?
Well, unless the water goes west, which I don't know that it
Water
does.
don't go uphill yet, does it?
Well, last time I know, if it goes uphill, I'm in trouble.
I have the acreage.
We'll work something out.
I have the acreage delineation of what that watershed is there too, the
Yeah.
updated one. So,
Okay.
that was just a report, and it says Mike Werler will conduct further investigations on this issue.
Okay.
More discussion will take place in the future on this topic. So,
Okay, on to the next one, Mike.
The Farm Bureau Drainage School, I sat in it and Hayden sat down there for quite a while. Hayden Botteroff, our IT guy, because he's a sponge trying to soak up everything he can. So it was worthwhile. It was actually a good one. I miss Bill being there with me.
Well, I just couldn't make it that day. I had to take Dad's doctor
Yeah,
appointment.
I figured, I assumed that's what it was. So it was worthwhile. It was a worthwhile day, so.
Is there anything at that training, on that day that was out of the that was completely new compared to what we've had in the past on drainage school?
No, so the floodings, the government takings and drainage, by Breonna Schrader, she's the attorney that does this every time. She had a lot of new takings, cases that she reviewed, not just the same old ones.
Okay.
Private drains, general licenses, permits. Oh, that was pretty interesting with IDNR, especially since I just sat through that. I did that for the Wagley or the Amstutz Long. That was interesting, the permits. The drainage handbook, they're updating. They're working on that now. It hasn't been updated since 19 or something. No, before that, whatever it was, the last one. So there's a whole process to do that, and Wells County Surveyor Jared Hahn is setting on that
Okay.
board.
Okay, anything on the drainage school? No?
Yep.
So Mike, tell us about the trip you made to Indianapolis.
That was for the Maumee River Basin Commission. We meaning they did a watershed development commission bill legislature 2 years ago. That was not set up. It was kind of favored probably the larger cities. Was that a good way to say that?
Yeah, it really was
It didn't favor
adversarial to us.
the Maumee Watershed Alliance, or even the Upper Wabash. So the attorney, Dave Heine, not attorney, the legislator from Allen County, he accepted that challenge, and the guys from the Watershed Alliance, Maumee Watershed Alliance, and him crafted a change in the statute that got passed just for the Maumee River Basin Commission. And this was the bill signing, and none of us had ever been down there. Well, Jared Hahn had been, but nobody else had ever been down there before. I don't think Steve ever was in the state house. So it was an interesting thing. We stood around and waited, and he signed a whole bunch of bills. And what we have, 10 minutes, maybe not even that.
Yeah, maybe.
It was stand behind me, sign, take a picture, and then we walked down. But it was interesting. I thought the best part was while we were standing out in the rotunda in the middle there, the state legislators, Matt Lehman, and there's a couple senators come by, just kind of milling around, seeing what was happening, who was there. That was the most interesting part to me, hearing them guys talk one-to-one on the way the process works, on the way the meat grinder works, as Jared Hahn would say. So it was worthwhile. I drove truck down there. I took Steve and Lynn Selking along, who was part of that. So
Well, sounds to me like it will benefit the Maumee.
Yeah, I think it protects us from what would have been pretty harmful legislation, had we been forced to abide by it. So I think it was good change.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, any questions on Maumee, Mike, Indianapolis, et cetera? If
No,
not,
I
let's
think-
go on
yeah.
to the number 10 would be debrushing, ditch spray maintenance program.
this is our same, we have the bids out on that and accepted to dip and level that. This was again put on after the last meeting on the debrushing maintenance program. So I think we've already talked about it all. If you guys want to add anything or any more questions on that, because it basically is the same thing we talked about on the March here.
Would there be any, assuming this is a good thing, would there be any value in going back to the systems that we have recently debrushed and dip and leveled and adding a maintenance contract on top of that work?
Yeah, I really think if you guys are willing to do that, I think that's what we have to do. Especially once we clean them, let's keep them clean.
Well, history has taught us that the old way of providing the brush spray and keeping things off landowners doing it, it's just not working. So we have to do something to keep.
Works for
it-
some.
It works for some,
Yeah.
but there's some that, you know,
Just let
it's
it
not
go.
fair for everybody to pay for the ones that don't take advantage of it. That's my biggest complaint. I mean, and I'll use me that way, I'm not picking on me. I take care of my ditch, but my neighbor lets it grow. So we have to have a maintenance clean out. So I get a help paid to cut his brush off, even though I took care of mine.
So what's the solution to that, Bill?
You tell me and we'll both have an answer. I don't know, except if we have a maintenance contract and it's paid for out of the maintenance, then it's being taken care of. I feel my money is being spent well then.
The society has moved to a point where we want somebody else to do our own work. For the guys who do their own stuff, they just deserve a nice star in their crown. That's how it boils down to. The rest of the people don't give, excuse my French, don't give a damn. That's how it works.
You know, and-
That's where the society is.
And a lot of those people don't even live in Adams County.
right, I mean.
They may be absent.
Well, they can be absent, but then you go to a maintenance program.
Yeah, cause I walk my legal tile back there at least once a year, just to see if I got breaks. And a lot of times, if it's a minor break, I don't bother the surveyor's office. I know how to use a shovel. And I clean it out and I fix it.
So, okay, real quick, we got few minutes here. Okay. What would the maintenance program look like if we implemented it, Bill? What would it look like?
We would have a contractor who would, once a year, under directions of the surveyor, would come before the board and tell, these are the maintenance systems that we're going to go through and mow and maintain this year. And we're going to brush. And then we know exactly what amount of money we're gonna spend on that from the maintenance money that we collect to maintain the system. And in the long run, yes, the initial cost of setting something up like this, as far as collecting money from the people, will be significant, but in the long run, it will save them money because the cost of cleaning out a ditch, dipping it out, keeps going up every year. They can't keep, the equipment and everything, but if we maintain it and stay on top of it, we may get the 15 or 25 years out of it before we have to go through a bottom clean out.
So, okay, so where does the money come from for that initial cleanup when somebody's been negligent?
Okay, when they went through and before we did more maintenance, we did reconstructions. So when we went through reconstructions, we would weigh, in other words, everybody wasn't paying the same per acre rate. If you left your brush grow, you paid more per foot through your property than what I did who took care of my property. And that's how we weighed it out, because it wasn't fair for
I get it,
someone
okay,
to pay for somebody that wouldn't take
but
care of it.
that's not it, that's
Well,
not.
you don't do that many reconstructions anymore.
Right.
And the ones that you do, the board changed years ago where they went to a flat rate for everybody. Everybody pays the same flat rate. Okay, and then that's fine. I mean, that's up to the board what they want to do, and that happened, I think.
So you're saying if you do a reconstruction, people pay the extra to get it clean, but once it's clean, now you got this maintenance program for
Maintenance
it.
program, and that you take care
What
of it.
about a project that's done privately?
Well, you pay for it.
Yeah, everybody pays for it, it's whatever they do, and a lot of times the drainage board will
But
will
then
kick
the
in money.
maintenance program is initiated on that stretch too.
Right, because we kick in money on private projects out of the maintenance system. We always have done that.
Boy, it's gonna be a long process to get everything cleaned up.
Well,
May
you
never
have to
happen, but at least
You gotta
it's,
start somewhere.
we're gaining.
Yeah, I know.
You have to start somewhere,
Yeah.
and I think, that's what I think, that you'll have to raise the rates for the yearly, for everybody, from $1.25 or 90, whatever it is.
94 cents in the market.
Yes, or, and realistically, you got it, $3 won't do it. It will not do it. it will do it for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. But on down the road, when you hire people to come and do what wasn't getting done to do, that raises the expense on it. I mean, it's the way it is. And you have, landowners have to come to the realization they do have some side responsibility that isn't that much per year. But if you want to own that piece of property, there's some costs that go with it other than just your taxes.
Well, I know some ditches where you'd have to log it first.
We did.
Oh, yeah.
We've done that. We've done that. And after 5 years, if you don't take care of it, then the saplings are already that big and 10 foot tall or more.
So personal experience of my own, I have a private ditch that's in the river, the St. Mary's River watershed, that we take care of my whole life. I didn't know there was such a thing as a drainage board and all that on them when I was growing up, because we just did it.
Yeah.
That's what I made into the 2-stage ditch in 2010. And it's in floodplain. And I was busy, especially when I started here. I don't have time to be at home as much as I need. So I met Brett Huffman while, I mean, my mom's family is from Hoagland, so I know them. And I met him and he come out and brushed it for me and mowed it and sprayed it one time that first year. Second year he come back and had to pretty much brush it again. I mean, not just little stuff.
Yeah.
And sprayed it. And this year he just come out and sprayed it and then he come out and mowed it. So it's taken me 3 years to get the cattails killed and the brush down. Now, there's nothing come up really this year new but the cattails, a little bit of
No,
brown
you don't
cattails.
have cattails.
So it took 3 years to get it cleaned up. And that was only with, the biggest I had was 3 and 4 inch cottonwoods on there. And where the water floods on that, we get cottonwoods. So that's what it takes to keep the maintenance up on it.
So, what's it take, what kind of action does it take from this board to do what Greg said, get started somewhere?
Well, will it not help as we move forward? It's kind of impersonal for me at the moment, you know, with what we ran into, but you just have to tell people this is what it's gonna take. And you're right, people who live out of state don't know. Most of them honestly don't care that much.
No.
And you send them the bill, they're gonna pay for it. But as that gets around, because there's nobody farming any acreage at all that doesn't realize that the located system in this county is way past due to be replaced. And so while we're moving a little bit away from the ditch, but it's also everything that comes into it. And we have less fences to slow the water down.
The Burley tile's 100+ years old. I mean,
Less fences in some areas.
Well, yeah.
So, I think a maintenance report and a maintenance is, you know, project, a maintenance file.
I think that's
was-
our
is a
starting
good
point, is
start.
with the maintenance report, to see what we have involved, see what kind of monies we've been spending. And then we have a justification saying, and this is just an example, but if we're collecting $100 a year, but we're spending $200 a year, we gotta do something. We can't keep borrowing money from the general drain improvement fund to fund this stuff. Because eventually State Board of Accounts is gonna come down on us and say, you will, not, you shall raise these systems.
Well, it's just, the deferred maintenance is just eating us up.
Yeah, it just.
You know, towns are running into the same thing. You know, I live in Bern. 50 years ago, my gosh, you didn't let anybody's house go too far before they felt enough public pressure to
Yeah.
take care of it
Yeah.
or move. And that, you know,
I walk a lot in Bern. That's not the case anymore, is it?
no.
Sad. It's sad.
And yet, if you compare it to some other towns around, it like,
Oh.
looks pretty
Oh
good.
my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, you go to you go to a certain section, it's catching up with
Yeah.
the wrong way fast.
So our last information is what the board has requested. Amy, you want to speak on your spreadsheet you've been working on?
Yeah, one of the prior meetings, it was asked if we could, get some kind of data sheet showing the open drain miles and the tile miles in each watershed. With that in mind, I went ahead and started kind of tweaking and putting a little bit extra information into it. I took the prior data sheet I had made with the collections on it. Left that, made a section for the fall collections. Then here we will have, if there's a promised project that we've already voted on, how much. We have the amount in the funds, and then over here, we're gonna do the miles and tiles for each system. That way you guys have it. We'll update it once a quarter probably. That way you have it in front of you. It's kind of what you had requested.
Very good,
Good deal.
very
So-
good, thank you.
Good.
Just wanna let everybody know we're
Okay,
in the process.
Mike, is there anything else you need to discuss today?
That's all I have.
Anything from the board, Greg? Greg, anything else there, Bill? Steve, you good?
Yep, good.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Carry. Adjourn. Thanks for coming in, Dr. Judge.
Thank you, guys.
What you just did, and maybe you'll add more to it later, I don't know. If some people knew that.
Well,
We gotta sign these minutes.
Oh.
Amy?
well, I